What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center, and today I'm going to be doing a reading that I haven't done in a very long time, but today I'm going to be doing a twin flame reading. If you're new to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, all the things, and of course, everything else you need to know is in the description box below. Also, really quick, just want to do a quick reminder for my upcoming group that I've started with my dear friend Trudy at Soul Tribe Tarot. You can go check her channel out as well. And so just coming up here, perhaps maybe later this month, we will officially be opening the group up for those of you that are interested. And if you want to learn more about the group, if you haven't heard about it already, there is a link in the description box, of course, with all the other information. But there is a link for the video where I do a presentation and I explain what the group is, how to become a member, what it's not. Just all the details are in that video. Okay, so really quick, there's another video in the description of this video where I talk about what twin flames are and what they're not. All right, so I'm not going to, rehash all of that here. But what I am going to say is that moving into 2025, we will be entering what I predict will be essentially the year of the twin flames, right? What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that because there is essentially, there's going to be somewhat of a mass spiritual awakening, another prediction of mine, and I've talked about that on other videos that I've done on my channel and on my tarot, my live, doing live tarot readings and all that kind of stuff. But just as a quick recap, this year is going to be very, very transformational. All right, so we are in a 9 universal year in numerology. Cycles happen in 9s, but even when you look at astrology, the other side of the coin, so numerology would be what I consider one side of the coin. Astrology is the other side of the coin. We have some very, very interesting things that are happening here. So on the numerology side of things, we're ending the last 9-year cycle basically. So this goes all the way back to 2016 maybe, 2016, 2017, somewhere there. So it's kind of crazy. Here we are, 2025. We'll wrap up that. Everything that the last 9 years has led up to this moment, essentially. And then starting in 2026, we'll start in a 1 year, and we're starting a whole new 9-year cycle all over again. Well, and then on the astrology side, there's, we just had Pluto move into Aquarius, which Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And then there's some other planetary alignments that are happening that haven't occurred in quite some time. So there's just a lot that's happening, energetically speaking, and as a result of all that's happening, essentially, we're moving into a period of time where humans and humanity will not be able to ignore their spiritual bankruptcy or their purpose depression any longer. People they won't be able to. There won't be enough alcohol. There won't be enough sex. There won't be enough TV shows. There won't be enough pharmaceutical medicines and pills or, 420. There's not going to be, enough hobbies, enough relationships, whatever the thing is that people distract themselves with, going to work, your kids or whatever the things are. Those things are not going to work anymore. You're not going to be able to outrun or escape that deep void, purpose depressed feeling that comes from your soul, or what I call soul sickness. Essentially it's just when we're disconnected from the divine part of ourselves and we experience sort of this deep unfulfillment, this longing. There's something inside of us that's craving and desiring the spiritual connection. And then once we have that spiritual connection, then we can get connected to a meaning and a purpose. But so many people are disconnected from the divine part of themselves So they don't know what the meaning and the purpose of their life is. And so to not have to feel the discomfort or that unsettled feeling inside of them, that restlessness in their soul, they distract themselves, they medicate themselves, right? And so, but that stuff's not going to work anymore. And so when, as a result of that stuff not working anymore, you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to basically have to sit in that uncomfortable feeling and face, their spiritual bankruptcy, face that reality. And that's going to get a lot of people's attention, because they're going to think, well, have I gone mental? Am I crazy? Like, what's going on? Am I depressed? They're going to start trying to troubleshoot that feeling that they're sensing inside of them. They're going to start trying to troubleshoot it externally, but that's not going to work, because you can't solve a spiritual problem with a 3D physical realm solution, right? The only way to solve it is for us to turn our focus inward and connect to the divine part of ourselves, so that, we understand basically what that feeling was trying to communicate to us, because that's essentially all that it is. That discomfort is just our spirit and our soul trying to get our attention and communicate with us that, hey, you need to be in here connected to me, and then I will, basically communicate to you what this is all about, what this feeling is all about, and guide you and lead you, in what you're supposed to be doing out there, right? So, because so many people are going to be going through this kind of, there's going to be a mass spiritual awakening in that sense. A lot of people that are going to be looking for answers, spiritual answers, essentially it's going to cause a lot more people to basically understand, the complexity of, what spirituality calls a twin flame relationship, right? And so, again, without getting into the whole, rehashing all of it, because that's my definition of that is in the video I mentioned in the description box. I will say it's important for me to say that a twin flame relationship, in my opinion, is not just an intense relationship. It's not just, your typical generic, the spiritual terms of that concept. For me, one of the things that indicates a true twin flame relationship more than anything else is that it's about two souls basically coming together that have a purpose. You being with this person, there is a purpose greater than each other. Now, that doesn't mean that there weren't other elements and aspects of that relationship. Sure, you can meet your twin flame. Sure, they can trigger your awakening. They can trigger you to go into a whole spiritual thing. There's a whole cycle of that, right? You can meet, you can trigger each other, you can separate, you come back together if, you've done the work and you've grown and all that. Sure, all that's true. But the purpose of coming together, the union part of it, it's like we've gone through all the drama, we've done all the healing, we've reconnected, all the things, and now here we are together, right? The purpose of actually being together is not for you just to be in a relationship with this person, right? Because if that was the case, then it's basically the same thing as having just a regular soulmate connection. It's just more intense, maybe more toxic, and maybe there was more drama. That's not what this is. The purpose is because you and this other soul, this other person, you have a contract, a soul contract, where you both agreed before you came into this life to go out into the world and basically, help the collective doing whatever it is that you contracted with each other to go do. We'll call it your spiritual work, your spiritual mission, your spiritual vision, your spiritual job, your spiritual career together, whatever it is, right? But you're meant to come together. You're meant to go out into the world, and you're meant to serve the collective with whatever that unified thing is that you contracted to do together. Assuming, you can make it that far in the journey, because it's a hard journey and there's lots of, there's lots of shit, lots of challenges in the twin flame journey. I believe that. So, but if you're in a situation or a relationship with somebody and there's just toxicity and there's just drama and there was never a vision, there was nothing about the relationship even had, any semblance of a vision or a future or a higher purpose or a higher calling. It was just about, I just want to be with this person. It's so intense, or this, that, and the other. The sex is so crazy, and I've never felt anything like this before. Right? Then, in my opinion, that's not the basis for a spiritual union, right? Like, because that's really what this whole concept of this twin flame thing is. Yes, I get it. It's like it's the same soul in two different bodies. I get all of the other breakdown, like all the other concept behind it, the whole lore, right? Because it really is. It's like the twin flame thing is really like almost like its own, like it's separate from just regular spirituality. It's like its own thing, like you have Star Wars and you have Star Trek and you have Lord of the Rings. It's like each one of those things is like its own separate lore, right? It's its own world with characters. And it's like if you're a Star Wars fan, it's like you're into all the Star Wars stuff, right? And so the whole twin flame concept has kind of become that, where it's like its own, it's like its own little world of its own kind of thing, right? And if you subscribe to that, that's fine. I'm not here to judge your belief, what you believe about that concept, or if you think you're with that person or not with that person. Only you and that person would know. I wouldn't be able to tell you if you were or you weren't. But it's just my opinion that if the greater purpose of you being with this person is not driven by a spiritual vision for something greater beyond yourselves. Like, I'm not saying that your relationship to this person isn't part of the vision. Obviously it is. Like, this is, obviously your person. But if that's where it ends, that's where the story ends. It's like, okay, I came together with my twin flame and now that's it. The story's over. Then I don't think that's probably your real twin flame. That's just my opinion. I think that if it was your twin flame, you would be like, hey, person A is like, I know that I have a calling on my life. Person B is like, I know I have a calling on my life. These two people come together and it's like, wait, we kind of have like a very similar calling, if not maybe the same calling. Like, we both have we're both driven towards the same type of, spiritual vision, spiritual destiny. We're motivated by the same concepts, the same things. Like the same type of effect or service that we want to have, the effect in the world that we want to have, the way that we want to serve the collective. It would be something similar, whatever that thing is, right? And that could manifest in millions of different forms and shapes and forms, right? Starting a business, teaching people. I mean, it could be anything. It could be literally anything. So that's really the main criteria here. So my reading is going to reflect that. Why did I share all this with you? Like, okay, Eddie, we get you, you're going off this tangent about all this stuff. Why do we need to care about this? Well, the reason that you need to care about this is because my reading is going to reflect this, right? Because everything I'm about to pull here has to do with understanding why 2025 is essentially, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, this is my prediction, but why 2025 is going to be the year of the twin flames. Because I think more spiritual unions, more contracted spiritual unions are going to come together. More people are going to actually meet, their twin flame partners, because again, there's going to be this great awakening of people that need spiritual mentor. They need, they need the spiritual teachers and the spiritual healers and all of that. They need those people to kind of be awakened, be ready, right? Because there's going to be far more people that, there's the saying in the Bible, like, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. That's kind of the idea here. There's going to be all these people that are going to need help, but there's only going to be a few workers to help all the people. So, that's why it's important. And I think that's why this year we're going to see more and more, divine unions coming together, because the universe is trying to throw people together that contracted for this moment in time. They didn't contract for any year prior. This is the moment of time. This year was the year that all kind of came full circle, and those contracts, The universe is going to start, bringing people back together, or whether you're with your person or you're not with the person, whether you've met that person or not, it's all going to start happening. And the divine is going to be supportive of union. Okay. When I say union, the relationship coming together, getting past the drama, healing whatever needs to be healed, and getting on the task, getting on the mission. That's the purpose, right? So 2025 is about the universe bringing these twin flame union together in relationship so that we can get past all that stuff and start focusing on the mission, focusing on, all these people out here that are going to be going through this awakening, and, they're going to need help. They're going to need assistance. They're going to need teachers. They're going to need healers. They're going to need people to show them the way and help them make sense of all this spiritual stuff that, they maybe didn't believe in, or maybe, they had no concept of, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I've explained that well. I know that was a lot, but again, I had to set up my video, or set up this reading rather, not the video, but kind of pre-frame the reading so that you guys understood kind of what the purpose is here, right? So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull 3 cards across the top using this deck to see where you are at with this person. Now, you would know who this person is if you've met them, right? And if you're unsure, then you can do all kinds of research on this concept. But I feel for those of you that know that you know, then obviously what is understood doesn't need to be explained. So let's find out. Where's the collective with their person right now? Where are they at with their true twin flame partner? Where are they at in their journey right now? This is kind of just the update energy. Like we're just kind of getting our, okay, so the first card out is we have passion, which I'm not surprised to see. You'll have the best sex you've ever had in your life with your twin flame. I heard this chick say, I can't remember her name, but she had a great take on twin flame sex. And she's like, well, of course the sex with your twin flame is amazing. It's like, because you would know how to fuck you better than anybody else knows how to fuck you. And that's how she said it. And I just kind of laughed and I was like, yeah, like that's kind of true. Like if you were having sex with you, then you would know the best way to have sex with you. So of course the sex would be great. Essentially, that's what she was saying. So I laughed at that. I thought that was funny. I was like, that's a good point. All right, so let me get the third card out before I start, translating, interpreting, and explaining everything here. All right, so this makes perfect sense. All right, so we have the passion card, we have chaos here, and we have transition. And at the bottom of the deck, we do have excitement. So I'm going to just set this deck over here to the side because I'm going to need all the space here. So the very first thing is that obviously if you have been around your twin flame, if you have been around them, if they've been in your life, and that you're in a twin flame relationship, then obviously everything is very intoxicating. So, there's been a lot of passion between you guys recently. If you've been apart and you've been in separation, then there's still been a lot of passion, but it's just been at a distance. So a lot of you thinking about them, they thinking about you, and probably in a sexual manner, if you catch my drift. Now, if depending on where each person is in their spiritual development, because we're all still human beings, and just because we throw the label twin flame around doesn't mean that you're any less human. So where they are in their own personal growth and spiritual development also could mean lots of other things, right? So for some people, all that energy, because that energy has to go somewhere, your person, they might be channeling that energy that they have for you, all that passionate energy they're feeling from you, because they're connected to you, their soul's connected to you, it's always connected to you. Maybe they're out, getting their rocks off with somebody else. But if they are, they're thinking about you while they're doing it. So, lots of different scenarios here when it comes to the sex conversation and the twin flame things, but essentially that's what this is here for. It's basically like, right now, the sexual energy between you and your twin flame is super, super high. Whether you're in the same room with them, in the same house with them, whether you're thousands of miles apart on the other side of the world, doesn't matter. You're connected to them sexually. You think about each other sexually. That passionate energy is there. And really, the reason for it is intentionally to pull you together. Like that's what it's there for. We just misunderstand it as just sexual tension just for the sake of sexual tension. Like, wow, I'm really turned on. I'm really horny right now. And I just want to go get my rocks off. That's not why that energy is there. That's not the only reason that it's there. The reason that this passion, this energy is there and it's so intense is because it's trying to get you guys to come together. And again, even if you're living under the same roof, doesn't mean that you're together, because the next card we have is chaos. So again, the same situation applies here. If you're living under the same roof with your twin flame, things are very, very chaotic right now. If you're thousands of miles apart and you're in separation, things are very chaotic, either for you or for them, maybe for both of you, right? And all of this depends, again, on the where you are in your spiritual journey. So, for example, let's say that you have been focused on your healing, your spiritual development, your personal growth, and you're like, you know what? I can't control, what my twin flame is doing. Obviously we're in separation. It sucks, but hey, I got to move on with my life and keep going. And so you're going and you're growing. Well, let's say that your twin flame, your partner, isn't. Let's say they haven't been focused on their spiritual growth. Let's say they've been out just doing whatever, right? Well, this chaos that's happening in their life is meant to basically light a fire under their ass. Right? Here's the fire. You got this fire that's like hitting this, and I know this isn't an ass, but we'll just pretend that this is an ass down here, and this is the universe, like basically blowtorching. There's the blowtorch right there, and it's blowtorching their ass, literally lighting a fire under their ass by sending all this chaos in their life to try to get them to come towards you. So you have two cards, essentially, out that are, the intention is to bring you together. Right? So it's either through the universe, like, hey, I'll use the sexual energy to try to bring you two together. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just light a fire in your ass. I'll just make your life fucking miserable, and I'll keep making your life more and more and more miserable until I get your attention. And then when I get your attention, I'm going to be like, go to your fucking person. So that's essentially what the universe is doing. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it direct. I'm keeping it honest here. Okay. For what purpose? To get through this transition. Okay. To transition you guys out of whatever place that you've been in so far in your journey, your personal individual journeys, but to essentially, let me rephrase that. Let me just backpedal a little bit. The information wants to come through me very quickly here, so I'm kind of like tripping over my words. The universe wants you both to catch up with each other individually. Right? So if one of you has been up here growing spiritually because you've been focused on your personal growth, your spiritual development, your spiritual mission in life, your calling, what have you, the universe is trying to get your person to catch up to where you're at so that you can join forces as needed so that you can do this, the transition. And the transition is about you climbing this ladder, to meet at the top of the staircase at the same place at the same time, so that you guys can walk through that door. And what's on the other side of that door is your mission and your calling together. The unified mission, everything I was talking about at the beginning of this video, right? So this process of transition is really kind of a process of ascension, personal transition. Every time you grow and you level up, it's like you've walked up to the next step, right? And so the universe is trying to get you both to the top of the stairs at the same time so you can join forces and walk through that door into your mission and your purpose as true twin flames here to serve the collective. That's what the universe is trying to do here, right? And these are the two methods that the universe is trying to use to get you both on the staircase and up the staircase so that you can meet in front of the door and be like, oh, hey, cool, you're here now. Great. You got your shit together? Yes. You got your shit together? Yes. We're ready? We're ready. Okay, boom. And then through the door you go off to your spiritual mission. All right. So now let's take a look and see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 cards. I've got this specific twin flame deck here. I'm going to pull 3 cards down the middle, and then I've got 2 tarot decks. I'm going to look at your energy on one side. I'm going to look at their energy on the other side. Okay. So we're just going to go a little bit deeper into this and see where you guys are at on a little bit of a deeper level. Like what specifically? Okay. The first card that came out is trust. And at the bottom it says ask, listen, and allow. So there's 2 energies on this card. Obviously, the first one is trust. We get the number 44 there. That could have relevance to you. It may not. Obviously, it's very common for there to be trust issues depending on where you're at in your journey. And I think it's very common for, when you meet your twin flame and you start going through all the intensity of it and the separation and all the different things start happening, especially if you're in separation, I should say, it's very common to not trust yourself. And it's very common not to trust them. And you start questioning it. Like, well, maybe they weren't my twin flame. Maybe this was all a bunch of bullshit. Maybe we weren't supposed to be together. Maybe, and even if you do know that you're with that was your twin flame and you've been separated, maybe you've been separated for a long time. And you're just like, well, maybe we weren't supposed to come back together. You start coming up with all these stories and your brain just goes crazy and runs wild with it, right? And so you start, you stop trusting yourself. And instead of trusting yourself, you question yourself and you become skeptical, you become cynical. And I'm not saying that that's not, that's not human. And we're all human here. No one's perfect. And we all struggle with this, right? So the universe is the response to any trust issues you have, whether it's a trust issue with your person or whether it's just you trusting yourself about whether they were actually your twin flame or whether they're ever going to come back or whether it's ever going to actually happen, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the thing is, the universe is asking you to consult with them. Ask, listen, and allow. It's basically saying, hey, I don't want you focused on them. That's the problem. The problem that you're having is that you're focused on them instead of you being focused on you. And when I say you being focused on you, I mean you focused on the divine. Like you need to be focused on yourself and the divine, your connection to the divine. That's the only thing you need to be focused on. And then the divine's over dealing with your person, right? They're not yours to obsess over. Let the divine deal with them. And you just deal with yourself and your own divinity, right? That's what the universe is. But it's saying, hey, look, ask, listen, and allow. Like if you need help from me, ask. But you also need to listen to the guidance that I give you. And then you need to allow me to, the universe rather, allow the universe and the divine to assist you as you work through this process. Because the divine is again, working behind the scenes to get you both up the staircase at the same time through this transition. Now, the next card is the 1111 card, and it literally just says twin flame. And at the bottom, it says everything is possible. Everything is possible. And so again, this is again more like a reminder of this trust energy where it's like some of you guys have lost hope, or again, you just don't trust yourselves, or you're questioning, well, I guess this isn't going to work. This isn't going to happen. This person's never going to come back. I haven't heard from them in years. or it's too toxic, or it's too broken, or it's too this, or it's too that. It's never going to happen. Whatever the excuses are, whatever the story is that you have about this situation, why it can't happen, why it won't happen, negative Nancy, right? The universe is saying, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Everything is possible. The universe is saying, I need you to trust me too. That's another energy on this trust card. I need you to trust me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, working with that person over there. It's like, yeah, but you don't know, this person's so stubborn, and they're this and they're that, and the blah, 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 blah. No, the divine knows exactly what they're doing. The divine knows exactly what they're doing. The divine knows exactly what to do to get them to meet you at the top of the staircase, as mentioned earlier. So essentially, this everything is possible. The divine is trying to get you to believe in the actual power of the divine. Because here's the problem. If you don't trust the divine now, you're not going to trust the divine later when you're actually doing the divine work. Which means that you still have some ladders to climb. You still have some steps to go. You're not ready to be up at the door yet. Because you're not trusting the divine now. You're not going to trust the divine when you meet your twin flame at the top of the stairs and you're meant to go through the door, because that's when you're really going to need to trust the divine. Because it's literally the divine's work through you that you're meant to go out into the world and do. So if you're not trusting the divine here now, in this situation, you're sure as hell not going to trust the divine when you walk through that door, and you're out in the world doing your divine work. So, trust is obviously one of the lessons that needs to be learned here, right? Trusting that the divine is just as powerful when you're not present, just as powerful behind the scenes. The divine is just as intelligent and just as powerful and just as capable of dealing with your other soul, your twin soul. The divine knows exactly what to do with your twin soul, knows exactly what's going on with them, knows exactly their weaknesses, knows their strengths, knows the right buttons to press, knows how to, morph and change their environment and the people around them and influence them in all the ways, and to weave and pave and turn the road and detour and route them and all the different things that the universe knows how to do to get them up the ladder to meet you at the top. But it's not your job to worry about the universe doing its job. It's your job to worry about you doing your job. And right now, your job is to trust, but your job is also to believe that everything is possible, which means you must also believe that everything is possible inside of you. Because the same divine force, there's only one divine force. The same divinity, the same force, God source, the universe that's in me is the same one that's in you and everybody else. It's just one source, one God, one universe, one field, one infinite creator, creation, energy, whatever word you want to put on that. It's all just one, it's one thing that we're all part of, right? And it's in all of us. So the divine is asking you to start believing that everything is possible within you as well as everything that is possible outside of you, right? But it's a trust. It's a relationship with the divine. It's like, of course, if the same divine that's out here doing crazy, badass, cool things through that person or that person or that person in that situation, and this person over here, they have a really cool testimony, a really cool story, and this thing happened for them. Well, that same force, that same divine force is inside of you. And the only reason that you're not getting the results that those people out there are getting are because of the limitations of your trust and your own belief, aka free will. You can use your free will to limit the power of the divine in you all day long, which is why the divine is wanting us to climb these steps to get to the top, because that's spiritual mastery. Part of spiritual mastery is spiritual trust, right? It's shaping our free will around the belief that everything is possible instead of allowing the unbelief to shape our free will. The lack of trust in the divine to shape our free will. You see what I'm saying? It's shaping our free will. It's us needing to shape our free will around the concept that everything is possible and not the other way around, right? Because there's very important work that needs to be done. And until we graduate twin flame school, we're all over here at Twin Flame University getting our degree, so that when we graduate and walk through that door on graduation day, we enter the world ready to kick ass, take names, and go do our spiritual mission. This is Twin Flame Boot Camp. We're just here to learn the ropes and learn how to do how to do the real work. And the real work isn't really the work we're doing here. The real work is the work that we're going to do once we get through the doors. But this is the training grounds. Because if we don't pass the test here, we don't pass the training ground, then when we step through the doors to step out here into the real world to do the real spiritual work, we're not going to do it. We're going to fail. In fact, we'll fail long before we even walk through the door. We'll fail way down here on one of these bottom steps, and we don't want to do that. That's not the purpose of the twin flame journey. The purpose isn't to fail. It's to, tag team, like tag team wrestling back in the day. Like, that's our partner. It's your tag team person. It's like, we're partners. We're not enemies. There's no need for this chaos and all this conflict and this crazy shit. We're here for a spiritual mission together. But unfortunately, we're human, and it takes time to become awakened to the fact that we have a spiritual mission. And then we have to, go through the healing and get the confidence and learn the skills and get completely tapped in and tuned in to the divine, flowing freely through us and co-creating alongside of us and giving it access to do so and all that kind of stuff. It's just, there's a lot of things that go into us getting out into the world and doing our spiritual mission. So now we have a third green card. Now it's interesting. This deck has lots of cards, you can see. And now we have a third card in the same color, which is, the way that I translate that energy is that there's conformity. There's a uniformity here, meaning that the energy is coming together in a very aligned way. So because we got 3 cards now, all the same color. And I don't know how many. There's at least probably 50 or more cards in this deck. I don't know exactly how many, but it's a lot of cards. And each one of the colors in this card are even. So there's no more green colored ones than there are orange, red, or whatever. So so that just again goes to show that you're both in a similar place in your vibration, because the color of the card for me as a reader is, I interpret that as the vibration of the energy itself, right? And so you're both in a similar vibration, even if the experiences that you're having in your lives are very different. And that's a good thing. That's a plus and a positive, because that means that you're both probably standing on the same step, metaphorically speaking. You're on the same color. Let's say each one of these steps was painted a color that was associated to these cards. So one of these one of these steps might be this green color, this olive color. The next step might be this orange color. The next step might be this dark blood red color or brick red color. And then another one might be kind of more this forest green color, right? Well, if there was a bunch of different colors here in the middle, that might mean that you guys are standing on different steps, different levels. But the fact that all 3 of these colors are the same is an indication that you're both standing on the same step. So hopefully that's a good analogy, or a good way to translate energy. It's, I'm talking about an invisible thing that we can't see. So I'm trying to relate to it the best that I can. Now, this card is obviously off camera a little bit, but this card, it says false twin flame, intense change. Okay. And so we have 4-4, 11-11, we have 2-2. So again, there's 2 energies attached to this. Right? And I'm going to set this one I'm going to set this one in the middle, just on top of these 2. So we know what these other two say. So false twin flame. Now there's 2 energies attached here. The first energy is everything that I mentioned about this trust card up here. Some of you, again, you're questioning this relationship with this person. You're like, no, I guess they weren't my twin flame. They must have been a false twin flame. We've been in separation too long. There's been too much chaos. We've hurt each other too much. It's too toxic. It's too fucked up. It's too broken. It's too this. It's too that. Excuse. And so you just don't believe it anymore. You don't trust it anymore. Right? And I said that at the beginning of the reading. You're questioning yourself. You don't trust it anymore. You think that this person is a false twin flame. It's like, nah, they're a false twin flame. That wasn't my twin flame. Well, that's not true. Okay? It's a test. Right? That's for half of you. Literally 50% of you, that's the test. The test is you're going through something, you're not trusting the divine, so you're not seeing the result that you think you're supposed to be seeing. So now you're questioning the whole thing. You're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because it's like, in your mind, you're thinking, well, if it was my twin flame, something would have happened by now. They would have come back by now. I would have heard from them by now. They would apologize to me by now. They wouldn't be out doing this thing or that thing. They wouldn't be out dating that person. They wouldn't be sleeping around with this person. They wouldn't be out living a toxic lifestyle. They wouldn't this, they wouldn't that, they wouldn't this, they wouldn't that. And while you're making all these judgments about what your twin flame is doing, you know, the universe is over there right in the middle of all of it, doing things that you don't know about. Which is why I said the universe wants you, the divine wants you to be focused on you and not focused on them right now. Because the more that you're focused on them, the harder it is for you to trust, because you're over there looking over at their side of the fence or on their side of the yard, and they have this shit going on that doesn't make sense to you, and you're like, well, see, clearly they're not thinking about me. They're not thinking about this twin flame stuff. They're not wanting to come back. They're not wanting to fix things. They're not this. They're not that. You're so busy focused on what's going on their side of the yard, their side of the fence, that you're losing trust, because you're making judgments about things that you don't really know about, because you don't know what the divine is doing behind the scenes. Maybe, just maybe the divine is using that situation that doesn't make sense to you to get them to create chaos. Whether, again, the divine maybe is using passion. Maybe they are over there sleeping with somebody else. Maybe they are over, dating somebody else, right? Well, they're going to use, the universe will use anything and everything that it can to eventually utilize that situation where your partner is with that person, where, the universe knows exactly how to transform that situation convert it into some type of chaos, some type of pain, some type of growth, some type of inspiration, some type of desperation. The bottom line is the universe knows exactly what it's doing. Now, from your perspective, it could be impossible for you to fathom how the universe could possibly use the situation that your twin flame is currently involved in to get them on the staircase so that they meet you at the top. You're thinking, if they're even my twin flame, right? Because again, a lot of you guys don't believe it anymore, because you're focused on what they're doing instead of you focusing on what you should be doing. You shouldn't be focused on what they're doing. Let the divine solve that problem. Let the divine put a fire under their ass, with that person that they're with, or whatever situation that they're in. The universe knows exactly what it's doing, and the universe doesn't have to consult with you. Unfortunately, the universe doesn't have to come and tell you, hey, this is my plan. Let's sit down and let's have a huddle and strategize. I'm going to tell you everything that I'm going to be doing over here, so you won't freak out, so that you won't believe that was your false twin flame, right? Because now your mind is running wild because you're focused on them and you don't know what the divine's up to, so you don't trust it. And the universe is saying, well, no, you can trust me, but you need to, it's blind trust over here, because I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing over here with them. You're just going to have to trust that I know what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is intended to get them up here to meet you. But the longer you're over here focused on them, instead of you focusing on you, you're preventing you from getting up there. The only thing the universe, the divine, is basically saying, the only thing you need to be focused on is getting up those steps and being ready in front of the door. That's it. Those are literally your marching orders for group one. I said there's two groups of you. I'm still talking to group one here. Stop focusing on them, because it's just creating all this unbelief, lack of faith, lack of trust. You don't believe that they're even your twin flame anymore. And the universe is saying, listen, here are your marching orders. This is what I need from you. I need you to focus on you getting up to the top of these stairs, and just be in front of the door. I need you to be in front of that door and ready to go. That's all I need from you. You focus on getting you getting up to the stairs and in front of that door. That's it. Everything else having to do with your partner is in the divine's hand, and the divine doesn't need your assistance. The divine doesn't need your help. The divine knows exactly what it's doing, regardless of how crazy or unfathomable it seems from your outside perception. Okay? And again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to be the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just keeping it real. Now, group number 2. Let's move to group number 2. Group number 2, your person potentially has gotten involved with a karmic that they believe potentially is their twin flame. So they were with you and they fell into the trap of kind of like, well, that person wasn't my twin flame. This person is. And so they've gotten themselves connected into a situation or with somebody else that actually is a false twin flame. See what I'm saying? We're group number 1, you're just questioning that person was your twin flame. Well, this person has actually found somebody that they think is their true twin flame, but it's actually a false twin flame. See the difference? Group number 1, this is your twin flame. You just don't believe it, or you've lost hope in it. Group number 2, this person is has attached themselves to somebody that they think is their twin flame, but it's not their twin flame, right? And so, but that's okay too. So if you're in group number 2, your marching orders are literally the exact same. It's okay. It's okay if your twin flame is seeing somebody, dating somebody that they think is their twin flame, even though it's not. The universe knows exactly what it's doing. The universe is going to use that situation the same way it's going to use group number 1's situation, and it's going to take care of it. So your marching orders are the exact same. Stop focusing on them, and you focus on you getting up to the top of those stairs and be ready in front of the door. So whether you're in group 1 or you're in group 2, the marching orders are the exact same. The advice is the exact same, right? You focusing on you and just be ready in front of that door. Do not focus on them. Do not try to micromanage the divine or the universe. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to know about it. You shouldn't know about it. You shouldn't, and obviously the more time you're focused over there on what they're doing, you're just making it harder on yourself. You're just creating more pain and resistance in you, because you're watching them go off, and do things that are going to hurt you because you're connected with them. They're your twin flame. Of course, it's going to hurt to watch them, be with somebody, with some other person, if you're in separation, right? And if you're not in separation and you're together, you're living under the same roof with this person, then of course it's going to hurt. The more that you're believing the thought that they're not your twin flame, or that this person seems disconnected from you, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're with your person or you're in separation from your person. The advice is still the same. Stop focusing on them. You focus on you, and you have one job to do, right? You had one job to do. Your job is to be ready in front of the door. That's it. Climb the ladder, do your work, get up those steps, and be ready in front of the door. That's it. Just be ready. Let the universe handle the rest. That's it. Let the divine handle the rest. That's what's going on there. Okay? And yeah. All right. So I'm going to use this deck. This deck is going to be for you guys. You're here on the left. All right? This is you, my viewers. This deck is for your twin flame. All right, so just so everybody's clear, I'm going to show again. This deck is for you guys, the watchers, the viewers. This deck is for your twin flame, okay? Now, I'm going to just leave this deck sitting here, and I'm going to pull these cards first. I'm going to get 3 cards. What do you guys need to know? What is the universe, the divine wants you to know specifically? On your side of the table. Yeah, High Priestess. Keep focusing on your spiritual work. Stay focused on the spiritual journey, your spiritual work. Essentially, the High Priestess has everything to do with spirituality, everything to do with you just staying focused on climbing those steps. Spiritually learning, spiritually growing, and staying connected to the divine. Give me 2 more cards, please. All right. Hangman. Yeah. So this is, there's a few energies attached to the Hangman energy here. Now, I do want to just point out, for some of you, you or your person, we have 2 water energies here. I'm just going to call out the signs because some people like that. So, we have Cancer, Pisces, and then we have Pisces here. So, the Hangman energy is about you letting go, surrendering and letting go and trusting the divine to handle your partner. That's the one energy attached to it. The second energy is, again, realizing, gaining a new perception, a new perspective, new insights about the situation so you can continue the journey, so that you can free yourself from being in limbo. So right now, you've kind of put yourself in this energy of being in limbo. You're stunting and delaying the inevitable here. Like, you're delaying going up the steps because, again, it's like, instead of hanging around, like this person over here is hanging around, and look, their head is looking over where? They're looking over here. And that's not where you need to be looking. That's why things are kind of stuck, not moving anywhere. Because you're hanging around, waiting and watching to see what's going on over there with them instead of climbing the steps. All right? One more card. Yeah, Ace of Wands. This is all about, and there's actually a lot of energies attached to this. Yeah, I mean, there's like, I don't know. There could be literally 10 energies attached to it. It's a lot. I can't decipher all of that. So I'm gonna summarize all these energies and simply say this. The wand is literally your magic wand, right? Like, metaphorically speaking. It's your magic. It's the power of the divine in your hands as the magician. This Ace of Wands represents the fullness of the power of the divine that you have in your hands. So basically, another way we could say it, it's literally, the power of the divine that you have within you, within your hands, to do, to create, to manifest, to move forward. And so the universe is trying to tell you, like, hey, focus on harnessing your power. Focus on using all the power of me, the universe inside of you, to make things happen. And so instead of focusing powerlessly over here, thinking like, well, my twin flame, they're lost and they're stuck, or they're over there, screwing around with such and such, or doing this, or if you're living under the same roof, well, they're never going to grow up. They're never going to spiritually awaken. They're never going to get it. We're never going to see eye to eye. Whatever the story is, the universe is saying, hey, instead of just looking at everything so negatively, use your power. Like, use the power within you to send that person assistance. You can visualize. You can send them, love, unconditional love. You can send them energy. You can believe in them from a distance. You can speak to them literally from a distance. Like, even when you're falling asleep, you can telepathically speak to them while you visualize and you connect to their energy. You send love and emotion to them, right? You call out to them. And that's essentially all that energy is a form of influence. It's going to impact them, and it's going to pull on them. It's going to tug on them, right? And as you work on harnessing your inner strength and your inner power, it's going to start to have an effect on them, just by the fact that you're a twin. You're sharing the same soul. So the things that you're doing unto you, essentially, somewhere within them, it's having an effect. Now, they may not be consciously aware of it because they have free will, but you're still affecting them. So once their free will catches up to what's going on in their spirit, they're not going to have so much work to do because, you're over here doing a lot of healing and a lot of work for them. And I know some of you guys well, yeah, go figure, I had to be the strong one. I had to do the work. Well, hey, it is what it is. Maybe the next lifetime they'll be the one who's picking up the loose ends. Maybe they'll be you'll be the one that's the weak link in the chain or something, But essentially, yeah, the work that you're doing is they're benefiting from it. Now, again, they're not consciously aware of the fact that they're benefiting from the work that you're doing. But the minute that their free will catches up to their spirit, it's all going to be done for them, right? And so it's going to take them even less time to meet you at the top of the stairs. That's a good thing. So, again, it's all perception and meaning that we're placing onto this. If you have a negative perception of this situation, then it's just always going to be negative. But you could have a positive perception saying, hey, you know what? I understand that I have the power to help my twin heal, even though they're not where I'm at in their conscious awareness. They might, the healing that you're doing in your soul is impacting their soul. They're just not aware of it. And so you're not seeing the evidence of the impacts that you're making on them in the spiritual soul dimension level. So you think that all this work that you're doing isn't doing nothing for them because you're not seeing the external effects of it yet. Going back to the whole trust card, I have to see it to believe it. Okay, well, if you have to see it to believe it, then you're already doomed to failure because this is a spiritual work that requires trust in something you can't fucking see, right? Like you just hang it up. Just hang this whole twin flame journey up and just go live in the matrix with everybody else who has to see it to believe it, right? So if you're one of those who needs to see it to believe it, if you need the physical evidence from your twin flame to believe that the changes you're making in you are having an impact in them, hang it up. Don't shoot the messenger, though. Don't come after me. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But hang it up and go reinsert yourself into the matrix and go live like everybody else who needs to see it to believe it, okay? I'm just here to tell the truth. The truth is the work that you're doing is benefiting your partner, your twin. And when they come out of it, when their consciousness, their conscious awareness, their free will catches up to what's going on in their spirit, because that's what the divine's doing. That's the part that you're trusting the divine to do. The divine is the one who's working on their ego, their conscious awareness, helping them tune their free will into a frequency where they can see the spiritual truth of what's really happening. Your side of it was, hey, as I work and heal myself, I'm actually healing my twin. And so, now you're sort of burning the candle at both ends, but in a positive way. I know that metaphor is used typically in a negative sense. But in this sense, burning the candle at the both ends is a good thing. Just like typically when we say putting a fire under someone's ass, that could be, perceived negatively. But in this case, the universe putting a fire under your partner's ass, your twin's ass, is a good thing. So these are good things. What's happening right here is a good thing. So again, your focus should be on you, continually to heal yourself, focus on your power, working on your spirituality, climbing those steps, because every step that you take, every progress you make is having an impact on their soul, your partner's soul, on their spiritual growth and their spiritual healing and their spiritual development. And you're not going to see the external results because, again, their free will and their ego isn't there yet. But that's what the divine is going to work on. The divine is going to work on their ego and their perception and their conscious awareness. And once the divine gets their ego caught up with their spirit, it's all going to click. And you're going to be really, really happy that you were doing the work, even if you were carrying, somewhat of the burden, so to speak. But by then, you're not going to care because you're going to be at the top of the stairs, hopefully, and they're going to meet you there, and you're just going to be fucking happy that you're both at the top of the stairs. And you'll be like, finally, boot camp and all this bullshit's over. Let's get on and actually do the thing that we came here to do, which is where the magic and the fulfillment and the beauty of life really is. And you get to do it with your twin at that point. You actually will get them, but they weren't actually, and you'll realize that all this time you were thinking they were going to be the icing on the cake, or maybe it was the cake itself. I don't know. However you want to perceive that analogy. What you're really going to find out is that the mission that you have together that you get to share in was the true fulfillment. It was never about just getting this person, right? I mean, that's part of it, but that wasn't the whole thing. And it's not going to make sense to you until you step through the door and you start doing the greater work, right? And when you both start doing the greater work, guess what you're both going to say to each other? Now I get it. And you're both going to agree like, wow, I so understand this thing now. Now I understand this twin flame shit. It makes so much sense to me now, right? So that's your side. Now let's take a look at their side because this reading is getting longer than anticipated. Give me 3 cards for the other person, please. What's going on with them? Give me 3 cards. So yeah, so they're wandering right now, right? They're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, they're wandering, and they feel lost. But they're searching. This is good though. The 8 of Cups is good. It's better than like the 4 of Cups. And the reason the 8 of Cups and the 4 of Cups are almost identical energies. The 4 of Cups, I'll go through the deck really quick and I'll just grab the card and show you. The person's sitting under the tree and they're all like, they look sad and depressed and bored and apathetic. There they are. There's the 3 cups down here. Here's the universe trying to offer them something to cheer them up, offering them opportunities, fulfillment, like, hey, keep going. Hey, it's not, I know that you're unhappy and dissatisfied and you thought that these 3 cups were the end all be all. And after you've experienced it, you're just like, man, my life sucks. No excitement. I'm bored. I'm purpose depressed, spiritually bankrupt, and the universe is like, hey, no, there's more. There's always more. The universe is like, I've got as many of these as you want. And they're just not even paying attention. That's what spiritual bankruptcy is. They're not paying attention to the divine. They're ignoring the fact that the divine's literally right there, like the divine always is. And so they're just sitting here literally like a bump on a log, right? Or whatever that saying is. That's the 4 of Cups energy. Now, the difference between these 2 cards, it's the same energy baseline. This person is unfulfilled, unhappy. This person in the 8 of Cups is unfulfilled and unhappy. The difference is this person has got a pack. They've got their walking stick, and they're on a mission. They're not sitting under the tree. They're not, woe is me. This person is like, hey, you know what? I checked all these cups out over here. It's not what I want. I'm going to go find the one I do want. This guy is like Indiana Jones. And if you've ever watched an Indiana Jones movie, what is he doing? He goes into the cave and he has to dodge all the booby traps and he has to, overcome this thing and jump across that. He's like risking, as he goes deeper and deeper into the cave looking for the treasure, it gets more and more dangerous for him until he finally gets to the treasure, which would be essentially the 9th cup, right? And so this is essentially what this energy is. It's an Indiana Jones energy. It's very active. It's like, hey, I'm going to go find the thing that will make me happy. Whereas the 4 of Cups is somebody who's not doing shit. So this is a good energy. And I shared this, I did this little side mission here, this little side quest explanation for you guys, a contrast, because I want you guys to be encouraged by the fact that even though that dissatisfaction and disappointment and unfulfillment that this person, your partner, is having, is motivating them to do something about it. Whereas if the Four of Cups had come out here, it'd have been like they're not very motivated to do anything right now, which would have mean potentially a longer delay, more waiting, because the divine is going to have to light a fire under this person's ass to get them up and motivated, which could take who knows how long. Well, the divine basically has this fire, this blowtorch, held right up against this dude's ass. And this guy's like, okay, my ass is burning, my ass is burning, my ass is burning, my ass is burning. And so he's walking fast. He's like, okay, my ass is burning, my ass is burning. You know, it's like he's like ants in his pants kind of thing. Like he's moving. He's like, I'm going to go find this cup. The universe is like, hell yeah, you are. And the universe keeps, you know, every time he starts to slow down, or he or she starts to slow down, the universe sticks that blowtorch right back up their ass, and it gets them walking again. Like, okay. And they're going. So your partner is on the move, right? That's a good energy to see, you know. And the other side that makes it good is that they're consciously looking for something, and meaning that now they actually have an awareness that there's something missing. They're actually consciously aware now that, hey, I'm unhappy. I'm unfulfilled. No matter what situation your twin flame is in, it's finally sunk in. They're finally at that point now where they realize whatever situation they've been in, wherever they've been within themselves, they're disappointed, they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, and they can feel the energy, they can feel the divine calling them, and they're listening, and they're following the sound of the divine, saying, hey, that ninth cup is over here. I'm over here. And it just keeps calling out to them. You know, so on the backside, the universe, you know, the divine has got the blowtorch held up against their ass. But on the front side, the universe is also calling out to them saying, hey, come this way, go over here, walk over there, go down this path, make a left. It's guiding them right to where they need to be. And they're starting to listen now. So this is a very good card to see for your partner. And I know that was like a long explanation, but I just wanted to, you know, be very thorough in that explanation, because again, the trust issues and the disbelief and not believing anything's happening, and I can't see any effects, I can't see any results. So much time has gone by, I don't believe it anymore, blah, 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 blah. Like, nope. You have no clue. You have no clue. The divine has got lit a fire under their ass, and is calling out to them, and they're finally listening. They're on the move. All right, next card. Yeah, so here they are. Here they are. This is the Page of Pentacles, the card of the student. So they've learned a shit ton of lessons. That's the first energy. The second energy is, this is the universe kind of out here, like see, kind of this person's kind of like walking diagonally. Here's the universe, the divine, calling out to them, going back to the Indiana Jones analogy. Here's the treasure. They've got that pinnacle, that treasure, right? And so Indiana Jones is going to go look for this little treasure, and the divine's up there saying, hey, the treasure's up here in my hand, come get it. And they're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come up here and get the treasure from you. So, you know, this is essentially saying that this person is on the move to gain, to get this treasure, metaphorically speaking. Now, the third energy attached to this is that for many of you, the thing that you've been waiting for is finally about to happen. Your twin flame, if you're in separation, is going to reach out to you. Now, it's probably not going to be a big, huge, extravagant. It might be something. It might be something very small, just a little something. They're just dipping their toe in the pond with you if you're in separation. But this is essentially a card of hearing from your twin flame. They're gonna I don't know, they're gonna send you something, they're gonna write something, they're gonna text something. It could be any form of communication, anything, right? But probably something more practical, something small. It's not gonna be some big old thing. All right. Now, if you're living under the same roof with your twin flame, then this is essentially your person having some small epiphanies. Because here you can see this page has got a book, right? And what this woman, this girl, has learned from reading this book is represented by what she's holding in her hand. In other words, this is the treasure, this is the value of the things that I've learned inside of this book. Right? And so the book just represents the spiritual knowledge that they've acquired, metaphorically speaking. And this is them showing it to you. So if you're living under the same roof and you're connected with your twin flame, but you haven't been seeing spiritual growth from them, you're going to start to see it, because they're going to start maybe opening up to you. They may start sharing little bits of things here and there. Maybe they start asking you certain little questions here and there. You know, it's like it's the glimmer. You're starting to see the glimmer of hope in your twin flame. You're like, oh my God, they've never asked me that before. Oh my God, they've never talked about this before. Or maybe, you end up in a conversation with them about something, and you might mention, something kind of semi-spiritual or something, just kind of in passing. And then all of a sudden they start to engage with you, whereas before they never engaged with you. They never wanted to talk about that stuff. Well, maybe now they're a little bit more curious. They're paying attention. They're listening to you. And then, like, you can notice the change. You notice a little bit of a shift. But again, the key word is little, right? It's a little shift. So now you're starting to finally see the tangible evidence of everything I said earlier. You're starting to see everything I said on your side about this wand energy, that the more you heal you're actually healing them, but you don't believe it because you don't see the tangible results out here in the external world. Well, this is the tangible results that you've been waiting for. It's the first fruit. It's like you plant a seed and you go in and you look in the jar. It's like, where's the plant? You go in the next day. Where's the plant? You keep looking in the pot, waiting for the plant, and you don't see a plant. So you're like, well, that seed must have been a bad seed. The soil must be bad, or I must have done something wrong, blah, 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 blah. No, you're just not waiting long enough, right? Well, eventually you're going to go in there and you're going to look in the pot and you're going to see just the tiny little sprout sticking up out. And you're like, oh my God, there it is. It's finally coming out. That's what's happening here. You're starting to finally see the external little glimmer of hope that change is actually occurring. And there you were. There you were not trusting it. There you were not believing it. There you were thinking they were your false twin flame and all this stuff. And then there's that little shard of hope and truth. Finally, the little stem, the little plant's poking up out of the pot, and you're finally starting to see some evidence, right? That's what's happening here. Now, the moon. The third energy for your partner is, there's two energies, maybe three, but for sure there's two energies here. First of all, they are mirroring you. The moon is the mirror here. So here's this woman, almost looks like the same woman here, the same kind of girl, blonde hair, and obviously she's looking up here at the moon. Now, why I said the moon is the mirror is because essentially the moon card here is reflecting, right? It's almost like a portal. It's almost like this person is looking at the moon, and the moon represents you. Because you're one side of it, you're the sun side, the light side maybe, and then maybe they're the other side. It's like, this moon almost looks like a yin and yang. It's not exactly, obviously the yin and yang symbol has a little swirl in it. So the pattern isn't quite like a yin and yang, but it's still similar. It's very similar to yin and yang. So this person's looking up at the moon because it's like they're finally having the realization, they're starting to have the realization. They're starting to step into the twin, right? The twin effect, if we'll call it that. They're starting to realize here that they're staring at you, spiritually speaking, and realizing as they look at you in the spiritual dimension that they're seeing the reflection of themselves, even though it's you. So we'll call that the twin flame effect. So they're basically starting to have this realization that they're not fully consciously aware of. That's the second energy, because the moon has to deal with the subconscious, but just below their conscious awareness. Because remember, it's starting to creep out now. It's finally starting to creep out. It's everything inside of their spirit, everything that I've been saying this entire reading, you can't make this shit up. The universe, when I said the universe, let the universe deal with their free will and their conscious awareness, and you focus on yourself. And the more you focus on you with the swan energy is the more that you're going to heal them. Well, now you're also seeing the evidence of the divine working on their awareness, because this is the subconscious, this is the things in their subconscious coming to the surface now. In other words, the universe is finally getting their free will adjusted and, in tuned to their spirit. It's aligning finally, their ego is getting finally aligned to their spirit. They're becoming aware of their spirit, consciously aware. It's just below the surface now. And I hate to use a really gross analogy, but it's like when you get a pimple and you can feel it and it hurts like hell, but it hasn't come to the surface yet, and you're like, you wake up and it's like, damn, I can feel it right under here, and it hurts really bad, but it's not there. There's nothing there yet. Or maybe just a teeny tiny little bit of like redness or something, right? And you can feel it. If you touch it, you can feel it under your skin, right? But then you go to sleep, 24 hours goes by, you wake up the next day, and then there it is. It's finally surfaced, right? That's kind of what this is. It's like, this is their spirit now coming up to meet with their ego. So they're starting to become consciously aware now of what's really going on. They're finally starting to see the truth with this moon energy, right? And so this is also them being guided by the divine. I don't know if this is the third or the fourth energy of this card. They're being guided by the divine through their darkness, right? When I said with the eight of cups up here, I said that the divine was lighting a fire under their ass, but on the other side of them, they were calling to them and they were telling them, hey, go here, go there, make a left turn. That's what this person's doing. They're walking in the dark. They've been walking in darkness, some form of darkness, some form of illusion. They haven't been completely tapped in, tuned in, aware, or whatever. Whether you've been in separation with this person or whether you've been living under the same roof with this person, whatever that means for your partner has been walking in some type of darkness. But they've been listening to the divine. A part of them has been listening to the divine. The divine's been saying, hey, go left. They go left. Hey, come here. And they walk there. Like, hey, now go up. Then they go up the thing, right? They've been listening to these instructions, even though they've been walking kind of blindly. And that's why I said earlier, way earlier in this reading, that's why I said, you've been looking over on this side of the fence, judging the situation because you weren't seeing any results, because you're going, there's no way that the divine is doing anything. There's no way. There's no way that the universe is over there working anything out or assisting them or making this work. There's no way, because you're not seeing the evidence, right? Well, the things that you couldn't see were the things going on inside of them. The universe was absolutely navigating them and moving them and getting their spirit, getting them aligned. All these things were happening inside of them, right? Just like the seed in the pot analogy. And now, finally, the stem's starting to come out of the soil. Well, this is them, their spirit finally coming to the surface. Now it's up enough. Their spirit is far enough up. The plant is far enough up out of the soil where it can start to see the light. So this is the stem. This girl. We'll just say this girl is the stem that's coming up out of the soil, and then there's the light, the sun. This person is their consciousness, their conscious awareness and free will is now finally broken through just enough, even if it's a tiny little bit, where they're finally starting to see and have a realization here. Right? So things are happening. The bottom line is things are happening, things are progressing, and you just need to continue to focus on doing the thing that you need to be focused on. And the thing that you need to be focused on is yourself, your spiritual development. Continue healing, because as you continue to do the spiritual work on you, you're actually paying it forward over there to them, and just focus on getting it to the top of these steps and being in front of the door. That's all you need to be worried about. And I know that's really hard because, we're connected and we feel a lot of things with our twin flames, and, sometimes their energy pulls on us and we do get distracted, and then sometimes we do lose trust. That's part of the journey, right? All these things happen. But this reading is a reminder to you from the divine, hey, keep going, keep moving, keep walking, get refocused here. get back into yourself and just work on getting to the top of these stairs and be ready in front of the door. The universe is clearly working on your person here. And you guys, like I said, you guys might even get proof of it with the Page of Pentacles. If you're in separation, well, you'll finally hear from them. If you're living under the same roof, well, they're finally going to start showing you some type of hope of change. Some evidence will emerge like, oh my God, I think they're changing. I think something's going on. I've never seen this before. I've never heard them talk like this. There's something different happening here. Either way, this Page of Pentacles is a card of evidence. Okay? Evidence that whether it's a person coming back out of separation, reaching out to you, or it's evidence that this person that you're living under the same roof with is finally changing and they're becoming spiritually awakened. Okay? So I know that this was a very, very, very long read, but as I do with anything, I never half-ass anything. And when the messages want to come through, the messages want to come through. I will be doing more of these types of readings throughout the year because, again, this is going to be, and again, my prediction, and if I'm wrong, then I'll eat crow at the end of the year. But my prediction is that 2025, we're going to experience a mass spiritual awakening collectively, but also we're going to see the year of the twin flame, because the purpose of the twin flames, in my opinion, is to serve the needs of those who are becoming awakened. Because think about it. If you've gone through this journey with this person, all right, you two people who've gone through a very, very difficult, intense journey together, spiritual journey and physical journey, like all of it, wouldn't you possibly have something that you could share to somebody? Wouldn't that all of this crazy shit that you've been through maybe might be good to serve somebody? All this knowledge and wisdom, the experience, all this stuff that you've gone through, right? Wouldn't it make sense that you didn't just go through all of this just to come back together with this person? Wouldn't it make sense that all the stuff that you guys have gone through together was to go out into the world and help other people who don't even know a fraction of this shit? And they'll probably not even have to go through half of this shit that you've gone through. You know? So basically, when you step through the door with your twin flame, you're overqualified for the job that you're being called to do. You two guys, you guys are going to be spiritual badasses that basically at that point, it's like, man, we've gone through hell and back with each other. We've gone hell and back through this spiritual journey. We're ready for fucking anything. Throw everything in the kitchen sink at us. We don't care because we've been there, right? You're a spiritual badass. And you're going out into a world that you're to do a job that you're overqualified for now, because these people that are just awakening out of the matrix, it's like most of them aren't going to need all of that. So, you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready. You and your partner are going to be ready to do the job. You're going to be overqualified for the job. And that's why you guys had to go through all of this, which was to prepare you to step through that door and do something even greater together. That's what the twin flame journey is about, my friends. And I will argue with anybody else. That's my opinion. Everybody is welcome to have their own opinion, but I am entrenched on my opinion. My opinion about the twin flame journey is about serving the collective together and assisting those who need the assistance as they go through their spiritual awakening, right? And I'll close out this reading by sharing the same thing they said earlier, that the harvest is plentiful. The people that are awakening are plentiful, but the workers are few, meaning those of us that had the courage to keep going on this very difficult twin flame journey, to be ready in front of the door and wait for our partner. And then when our partner gets there and we're there together, we walk through the door so that we can go out as the workers into the harvest to help those that have awakened. That's what I believe the twin flame journey is all about. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.